everyone. Welcome to the weekend edition of the Nightly Nuge. And once again, Ted, we've got our buddy Kyle Rittenhouse on, and it sounds like, Kyle, you have big plans to get into the outdoors with Mr. Nugent this weekend. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. I was going to ask Mr. Nugent if he had any hogs on his ranch. Maybe I can go do a little hog hunting with Ted.
I think there will be a target-rich environment. But, Kyle, you know, you're a smart guy. You seem to be tuned in. You have a great truth, logic, common sense compass. But until you become one with the mystical flight of the arrow, I'm sorry, Kyle, that you don't know just how high the mountaintop is available to you. So we're going to have Kyle out here. Let me ask you, Kyle Rittenhouse, who performed really borderline miraculously on that night in Kenosha, Wisconsin, with your firearms tactical capabilities, and you articulated in a previous Nightly Nude that you weren't really trained and you didn't really pursue that tactical knowledge, but instinctually you did perform that night. Did you, in your upbringing, were you a hunter? Did you ever go hunting prior to that night, and are you a hunter today?
Well, I have never been hunting prior to that night. I have been hunting. Right now, I've been hog hunting. I'm looking for a coyote right now on one of my friend's ranch. He is not coming to any of the calls or anything. Set something up, nothing. So I've been looking for that guy.
Well, I think what we're going to do, Keith, is, we've got a lot of hogs on the outside. I don't have any thermal optics at this time. We usually set up on the outside. We got some hog bait coming in, actually made in Wisconsin. I wish I knew the name of the company, Whitetail Extremist Unlimited or something like that. But I apologize to the manufacturers of that bait. I'll figure it out. But Kyle, I'm going to baptize you into the mystical flight of the arrow. Archery will literally focus you, maybe not quite as focused as that moment in Kenosha, Wisconsin, but it is a magic procedure where when you're performing archery, you have to apply yourself so fully that there's no Nancy Pelosi, there's no evil, there's no Joe Biden, there's no corruption, there's no criminality. It's your gifts of God applied with reverence to control the path of your arrow and the path of your life. So we'll do a little hunting, a little fishing. And when you go coyote hunting now, do you use that AR that you used in Wisconsin? Did you get that rifle back, by the way?
I had that rifle destroyed. There was a lot of things going on with it. People wanted to buy it. I didn't want to sell it or anything. So I did the thing. I had it destroyed. I got a newer one. I got a better one.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I would love to pursue. What was the mindset? I mean, obviously there's a lot of controversy, a lot of yin and yang, but why destroy it?
There was some things going on about like the ownership stuff of who rightfully owned it. And then I just didn't want it to be celebrated. I didn't want that tool I used to be celebrated. I'm like, I use this for my God-given right to self-defense. I can get a newer, better rifle. It was a cheap Smith & Wesson one.
Yeah, well, Smith & Wesson makes a great rifle. What's your current rifle?
I have a Terran Tactical, their John Wick 2 rifle.
There you go. That's a great rifle.
That's an upgrade, Ted.
Yeah, there's a lot of wonderful rifles out there. I live here in Texas with LaRue Tactical, not far from where you are, Kyle, and wonderful, wonderful rifles. So we'll exercise that aim small, miss small marksmanship while Kyle's here at the ranch. And Keith, turkey season's coming on. When Kyle's here, it won't be turkey season because I'm doing a veterans event for the Wounded Warriors down in Victoria, Texas, on the opening day of turkey season here. Though the turkey season was open last week in South Texas, and I shot a beautiful gobbler with Larry Woodward, who called it in expertly, and I shot it with a load of Remington turkey rounds, of number 5 and number 2 shot. And Kyle, we're going to see what we can do, but the real celebration of the spirit of the wild, and if you don't watch our show, Shemaine and I have a wonderful show on Pursuit Network, 33 years running, the Ted Nugent Spirit of the Wild show. Be sure you watch that, and you'll get the element of fulfillment of conservation duty and reverence. And I think we're going to have a great, great time here at Spirit Wild Ranch, Keith. In fact, is there any chance, Keith Mark, my fellow Nightly Nude Truth, Logic, and Common Sense Crowbar Daddy, that you could come down Friday and join us here at Spirit Wild Ranch?
Well, I will look at my calendar, because if it is at all possible, I would love to. And by the way, Kyle, I live in Kansas, have lived in Kansas my whole life. We have turkey hunting like extraordinaire. And if you would like to come to Kansas and shoot an Eastern, I know a guy. Yeah. Now, hey, Ted, before we leave, we do talk about the outdoors, and you and I have been talking a lot about what's going on up in Wisconsin. We've seen historically that our fellow hunters up in Wisconsin just don't go to the polls and vote. There's a tremendously big election that's on the ballot this coming Tuesday up there in Wisconsin for Supreme Court. On one side of the equation, we have soft on crime Janet Protasewicz, who literally would strip our Wisconsin hunters and gun owners of their Second Amendment rights. She's going to destroy hunting as we know it up there. They'll never kill another wolf, which means they'll eventually never kill another deer in Wisconsin. Crime is on the ballot up there. The Second Amendment, the First Amendment is on the ballot. And you have Dan Kelly, who is a true constitutional conservative who will defend all of our traditional American rights. Ted, I really want you to take the last word today, speak directly to our Wisconsin hunters and gun owners, Second Amendment lovers, and really freedom lovers in Wisconsin. Last word.
Bottom line is, Kyle, I want you to get involved with our great activist organization called Hunter Nation. I want Kyle Rittenhouse to become a voice for freedom, which is what hunternation.org is all about. It's not about hunting. It's about general life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, constitutionality, God, family, country, law, and order. So, Kyle, I want you to investigate hunternation.org and huntthevote.org. And Kyle, you probably still have family and friends up there in the great Badger State, the dairy state of Wisconsin. Please contact them and tell them to join us at hunternation.org and huntthevote.org. And all my friends up in Wisconsin, you're on the front lines. Wisconsin is the Concord Bridge today. You need to get everybody you know to be sure you're registered to vote. In Wisconsin, you can vote right now. You can register right now. You can register right up to the day you vote on April 4th. And Dan Kelly will stand for your constitutional rights. And this Janet Protasewicz, she is on record. In Canada, they banned the old Winchester lever-action rifle because it holds more than 3 rounds. They call this an assault weapon in Canada. And Joe Biden considers this an assault weapon. He wants to ban all semi-automatics, which is 90% of your goose guns and your duck guns and your pheasant guns and your rabbit guns. And the left-wing communist-inspired, communist-celebrating Janet Protasewicz, she's on record. She is a Joe Biden gangster, and she could end up on the Supreme Court of Wisconsin. Wisconsin, show up to the Concord Bridge and exercise the most ballistically coefficient power in America, the vote. The Supreme Court is considered supreme and the determining factor for your freedom in the state of Wisconsin. So, Kyle, you've got still friends up there in the great Badger State. Will you join us at hunternation.org and try to inspire your friends to become activists? Because that's what the experiment in self-government is. It's about activism. We don't wait for somebody to tell us what to do. We tell our elected employees to stick to their oath to the U.S. Constitution. Can you be influential, you think, in some of your friends up there in the Badger State?
Oh, absolutely. I can reach out to some people and let them know about Hunters Nation.
So, Kyle, thank you. Keith, thank you. Josh, thank you. Tim, thank you. Everybody out there, and join me at Ted Nugent, Real America's Voice Spirit Campfire. Go to realamericasvoice.com and join Shemaine on her Faith and Freedom show. But we're doing everything we can to get past this insane era in America where good is condemned and evil is celebrated by all things Uncle Sam. It's painful times, but we shall overcome. Kyle, thank you. Have a great weekend. See you Friday. And Keith, see you next week on the Nightly Nuge.
God bless you guys.
Thank you very much.